this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. All thanks to Kali Ma. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps to support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. This is about my predictions for March 2024. Now, this is the beginning of a lot of things that are going to start to occur because we have the eclipse at the end of the month. So let's talk about it. So we start off March 1st with a Sun, Saturn, Mercury conjunction in Aquarius, which was highlighted during the last full moon in Magha Nakshatra on February 24th. And we also have Mars and Venus conjunction in Capricorn. Now, Mercury is and will be combust until March 4th. So governments are becoming very vocal about their demands on the people. They are very strict. New laws and written bills will be put in place that will anger its relationships with the people. Arguments around government and employees and the masses will continue. Conflicts and disputes. Also, miscommunication due to Mercury being combust. Problems with transport as well, and be careful when writing. There could be problems with contracts and things of that nature. On March 3rd, K2 transits into Hasta if you use the mean node. I talked about this in my predictions for February as the true node entered Hasta. So you can check it out on my previous predictions for February, or I also have a video where I have predictions based on the nodes for this year where I go into depth about what will happen with K2 and Hasta. Venus will be entering Aquarius on March 6th. So this is a good time for creativity until March 14th, as the Sun and Venus will be conjunct in Aquarius. Relationships become more stable and practical rather than about love, which they were as well in Capricorn. Now it's more about what's best for the greater good rather than the individual. And the focus becomes more on work, especially creative work for humanity and social groups, and having that compassion for humanity comes back again. Mercury goes into Pisces on March 6th. Now, Mercury is not able to function like it's meant to. Our intellect is now driven by our emotions rather than logic. Now, instead of addressing a problem with reasoning, it becomes driven by feelings, and this can cause errors in judgment. Rahu is amplifying it to the extreme as they are conjunct in the matters of communication, trade, commerce, stock market, scientific organizations, computer programming, industries in general, travel, transport. Be careful of unfair contracts that could land you in debt or be fraudulent in some type of way that you may sign because you may feel emotionally obligated to or coerced into. And this can also be about getting into relationships that maybe you jump into without thinking due to being lonely or feelings of being in illusions, not seeing the true picture. The media could also be reporting exaggerations and lies to get people swayed in a certain direction by fear, as usual, but more than they usually do. So be careful of cunning people, be careful of liars, forgers, pickpockets, cheaters, and fraudulent scammers. This is perfect for spiritual pursuits, as mantras are a great example of using Mercury in Pisces. And it's okay if you start to feel more introverted, which is totally normal. It may just be your time to go more within. Now, the new moon will be happening on March 10th. This will be in Purva Bhadrapada, conjunct Mercury. So this is the start of a lot of very extreme events, let's say. The main symbol for this is the front part of the funeral cot. And the funeral cot denotes our exit from this world, whether that's in death, sleep, or meditation. So its alternative symbol is a man with two faces, which is likened to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde having two different types of personalities, which is seen in many people who have dual lives. I've seen a lot of people who have many different names, many different nicknames. It's like having a dark side, but being really good at keeping it under wraps when it comes to society. And now, this is not for everybody who has this placement, but it plays out in many different ways, so please don't take offense to this. The symbol is the sword, which is the destructive side of this, and has the same 12th house meanings, which are the endings, death, imprisonment, and accidents, injuries, and pains come with this as well. This is the devil card, also known as the one-footed goat or the Baphomet. You can see in the picture that clearly shows a Baphomet. This represents many secret societies, and people who have this placement usually go to the top of the music industry because a lot of them are in these secret societies or are chosen by these secret societies to be in the entertainment industry. This is the dark side of the entertainment industry. The destruction that comes with this can be used, however, to destroy the ego, and that's what it's actually supposed to be used for. It's a representation also of the dark tree of life in Kabbalah, which is the clipped off. The destructive side comes from this being a representation of Lord Shiva, which is the destroyer. The symbol for the nakshatra clearly showing the Baphomet, but also the skull and bones, which is a secret society that is very prominent today. It is also the symbol for tantric practice with the skull. The negative traits of this nakshatra are diabolical, paranoia, pesticism, debauchery, violence, hedonism. Also, it can bring about people who end up worshiping demons when they should be worshiping more fierce devatas like Kali Ma, for example, because Kali Ma is the one that can destroy your ego and stop you from worshiping demons for material possessions. When you worship demons for material possessions, the demon is smarter and a lot more powerful than you and always takes over. Remember that. Devatas are much more powerful than demons, so it makes no sense to do so. This can bring in, unfortunately, mass murders, suicides, homicides, genocides. This can create predators and victims. This has the power of Shawtee to raise the person to an evolutionary level, meaning through spiritual practice, one can gain enlightenment, which puts you a level above most of humanity. This is the bridge between consciousness on the material and the non-material planes. Moon being in the 6th house is going to show us that there could possibly be some accidents, injuries, and also Mars is exalted in the 12th house, which can show us some violent activities or injuries that land someone in a hospital, or it can be a jail. Saturn in the 1st house, which is the 12th house lord in Shabahista, which is about doctors and healing as well. So a malefic in the 1st house is not a good sign in mundane astrology, as it is a potential for labor strikes, unrest in the country, lockouts, national calamities, floods, earthquakes, frustration, hardship, misery, funerals, cemeteries, coffins, fatalities, hidden things, mortality rates, imprisonment. So there's a lot of these themes happening around this new moon. March 14th, we have the sun, which will be going into Pisces. With Ketu and Hasta, those working with their hands may suffer unexpected problems. Rahu may take over as well, as in AI and technology will become more rampant. The exact conjunction will happen between Mercury and Rahu on the 18th, and we will start to feel this days before that. This can make leaders have a salesman-like approach of communicating and will say anything to try to convince the masses to go along with an agenda. People, including authority figures, will use tactics to get others emotional in order to take advantage of their loss or logic or their grief. This could have to do with immigration as well. There could be communication issues, trade can see sudden ups and downs, travel issues, especially dealing with water, accidents while traveling. Leaders may also be very emotional themselves and act in ways that are criminal and self-serving. They will also have huge egos and act in vulgar manners. That could be with speech as well. So check your ego and use this to advance yourself to heights that you never thought possible before, using spiritual knowledge and spiritual practice. Those in these fields will have an ability to peak their career. Mars will be going into Aquarius on March 15th. Mars will enter Aquarius in conjunct Venus and Saturn by sign. The masses will feel like they don't know whether to go or to stop. This will cause frustration among the people. Saptara Yoga will be formed as Venus is between two malefics. Mars is aspecting Ketu by the 8th aspect, transforming and creating tension and losses for many workers. This can create also abuse or violence. Mars will be inching closer and closer to Saturn, and the frustration will continue to rise among the masses. The exact conjunction will happen at the beginning of April, around the 10th, I do believe. We should be very cautious of accidents and injuries at this time. This can also involve airplanes. I just want to mention that, especially because Mars and Saturn are in Shabihista, which is health. The frustration can be on the medical system, as Ketu is in Virgo, which is health matters as well. And this can be the result of the past pandemic or something new may come up. On March 25th, we have the eclipse in Hasta. This is the hands. It has to do with fate. It's about our destiny in this present life. And like the study of palmistry, like the study of astrology, this is definitely a destiny point, as K2 is our karma, which is positioned here. And K2 is also the past, bringing us our karma from the past and in the year of Saturn, which is karma. Its ruling deity is Surya, Savitar, bringing in the themes of rulers and authority, which is the hand spread like this. This has to do with all big multinational corporations and the ruling business elite. It has a lot to do with trickery, deceit, and the symbol is also the clenched hand, which is keeping secrets within, and also a symbol of aggression, like the aggressive stockbroker, like the wolf on Wall Street type that will do anything to get ahead. Greed, ambition, and inability to let things go can come up. It can also mean strength and cooperation, like keeping punctuality, repetition of things, like Virgo is. This is the handyman of the zodiac, so that's why it's all people who work with their hands. It can also be the man who works all the time and never gets paid what he deserves, and he gets cheated by this big businessman who just takes advantage of him. And those are both examples of Hasta. Jupiter will be in the 8th house dealing with other people's money. Sun will be in Uttarabhadrapada, and debilitated Mercury will be with Rahu in Revati. So the fate of the world in the markets and businessmen and those who work with their hands, like laborers, also people doing astrology, tarot cards, readers, psychics, will feel this change. New technology is making its way onto the market. The old ways of doing things are no longer wanted by the elite, and a change is near but not welcomed by the masses. Possible issues with money can arise. Many manual jobs can be lost due to technology and greedy businessmen. The labor force, which includes transport and the entertainment industry, will be frustrated, and a loss of income in homelands can happen. This is dealing with AI and the internet, and also bringing changes and speeding this pattern up. Uttarabhadrapada's main symbol is the back part of a funeral cot, which denotes our exit from this world, like the previous nakshatra we talked about, Purvabhadrapada, and also a lot of 12th house related themes. It's our initial state after death. It's the deep sleep. It's the depths of the unconscious. So the alternate symbol is the serpent with 2.5 coils, symbolizing Kundalini, enlightening through moksha, through the activation of the chakras. The deity name is Adhir Bodhanya, which is the serpent that lies deep beneath the earth in the netherworlds or deep in the sea. It's likened to Pluto in Western astrology. The guise of death, transformation, and enlightenment through the destructive forms like Shiva, which is the main deity. So this can be used for enlightenment, for spiritual progress, but it's also transforming all of these other jobs. So just to let you know, I will have separate videos about all the eclipses and the moons as well. So this is just a small version. Now Mercury will end its debilitation and enter its enemy sign in Aries on March 25th. So that's when communication gets a lot more aggressive and we start moving a lot faster with many different themes. Even though Mercury is actually pretty good in Revati, because Revati is ruled by Mercury. And then Venus will enter Pisces on March 31st. Then it becomes exalted. So then compassion for others and devotion to God is really highlighted. So this is when the spiritual parts will really come in. Maybe because we do see a disaster and people turn towards God. And this can be for those also who, the compassion for those who are sick and dying, as what may have happened in Purva Bhadrapada. So that's just a little bit of what I see for this month coming up. I thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.